Understood. I do that too. So here we have image and canvas size. So canvas size is the workable area that you can put stuff on. So a larger canvas print versus a smaller canvas print, that's the physical size of area that you can actually put stuff on. If I change the canvas size to something bigger than the default, like 12 by 8, you'll notice that you have the actual image that we had in there, of that yellow and red background, is exactly the same. But if we move it around, with unlock the background, the thing I always forget to do.
I do too.
If we move it around, you'll notice that the picture stays the same size, but we have more area around it to work on.
So that black and white, gray and white thing you can work on?
Anywhere, I can do anything in the white area. It's just area. It's just that's the area that I can use to type text. I can make boxes. I can do whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. If I go back though, image size. Image size not only makes the canvas bigger, but it also expands the size of the picture. So right now, your dimensions of this picture are 640 pixels by 480 pixels. And realistically, that's a kind of a tiny picture.
Right. And it has a resolution of 72, which you don't want.
Which is low too, yeah. So if we change the pixel dimensions to basically double that, it will make the image and the canvas both bigger.
Can I do that in the size or just in the pixels?
You don't have to do it in both. You would have to.
I've usually just increased the size as opposed to the pixels, because I don't.
Yeah, either
I usually work down here as opposed to up there.
It doesn't matter which one you do. So you'll notice.
I don't understand I can't remember how many pixels are in an inch.
Gotcha.
Whatever.
So even here, if you go down here and do like 15 inches, you'll notice it changes the width and height automatically, and the height here, and press OK. And now we have a bigger document.
And you leave the resolution the same? Or do you put that up to 300 or something too?
You could. You'll notice.
If you were doing a real thing and you wanted it to turn out.
Yeah, you'll notice that this changes the pixel dimensions if you change the resolution.
But it doesn't change the width and height.
Correct. Because the document, the width and height is the same. You're just creating more detail in that particular picture.
And then it gets blurry.
It gets bigger and blurrier because it's huge.
And in this case, it really doesn't matter if it's blurry, because I think it's going to be blurry.
Exactly. Anyway. All right, so I'm going to unlock the background now. Now that we have a bigger picture, we can start doing cool things with it. I'm going to go over to the cool thing that you already captured.
And no, I didn't push it. As you can see, the edges are not.
There, you're fine. I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate the layer into the other project. Do you remember how we did that before?
Wouldn't I just drag it in?
Dragging works.
I just drag it in. Yeah, like that. I put my finger on the option key.
I don't think I can do it. I think you have to do it.
It's the option key? No, it's the command key. Where am I?
Click cancel in the middle.
I'm going to drag it in, but I got to be up here, and I got to put this command key. There it is. It's the command key. Which one is it? The NH?
Yes, the NH5.
Go on. Where is it? Didn't go in. Why didn't it go in? Oh, there it is.
Cool. Great job. That works wonderfully. Now that we have these in here, there are two different things I wanted to show you in terms of how we can use this as a cool effect here in your collage. One thing is we can change the blend layer to any of these different options. So if I
Show
do,
me the blend layer. Where's that?
it's up here above the in the layer panel. We currently have layer 1 selected.
Right, right.
Then here we can change this from normal to darken to color burn to all of these other different options to create what's called a blend effect. Hard light, exclusion, all of these. Lighten is kind of the cool one that kind of gives you the really interesting, like, transparent effect. Cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So you can work with the layer like it's perfectly
And
normal.
is this the alpha effects?
So this on the left here are blend modes. So this is how the image is blending with everything behind it, whether it's a hard light, vivid light, lighten, screen, color dodge, all this stuff. Picking one of these options gives you a way to change how that layer interacts with everything behind it.
Oh, I think this is really fun.
And they're cool. I mean, you can do all kinds of interesting, weird things on these too. And you can see it changes depending on what the color of the particular thing is, or any of this other stuff. So if we go back to normal,
But you're
though,
taking stuff away too, and I mean it takes away, just took away some of this.
so you have to think about it in terms of real world sort of moments. If I was putting this on glass, for example, it wouldn't look exactly like the image, right? It would look faint. There'd be a lot of transparency. So if we do here and we do screen, this is kind of what it would look like if we had like a reflection going on. And that's what the blending modes are for. They're meant to quickly get you to areas that are kind of blending with other objects in a normal real world scenario. So like screen is commonly used when you're doing things like lights or glass or anything like that. So if you ever watch a TV show and there's a reflection in the mirror, someone probably in Photoshop used the screen blend option if they're making it like a visual effect. These options are really cool and they're very nice, depending on what you're trying to do. But also remember that you also have the opacity here on the right for each layer individually. That opacity can affect how that particular picture, that layer is interacting with everything else. So if I have my opacity at like 23, I'm getting... What?
I don't need to do the edges if it's like that.
Yeah, right? You can do a lot of different things to kind of blend together, whether or not it's using the blending options like lighten or screen, or the opacity. So
lighten and dark. That's it. That's the whole list, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's a very, very long list too. So like color, you can get like this really interesting color effect, saturation. You can affect the saturation. It's a lot of these are ways to kind of blend together layers so that you're not like taking two layers and just plopping them on top of each other. You're taking one layer, putting it on top of another one, and affecting what's below. So maybe you have you want to burn in a picture of a flower onto something. You could do something like that.
Yeah, I can see where, putting other stuff in here and doing other things with it.
Yeah. Where's that picture of Lily, by the way?
The what?
The picture of Lily. Oh, there it is, Lily Spots. So for example, a good example of this is actually the picture that you just had right there. I'm going to take this layer that we made and we're going to duplicate it over into the Lily Spots. I'm doing it this way to make sure it works. Basically what we did is we created this layer And now you can see that because we're using the saturation, it does that. But if we do something like hard light, we can start blending images together in a more creative way to create, hopefully, going for a tattoo effect.
Oh, poor Lily.
Yeah, Lily's
we
having
could have had a better tattoo than that.
That's all right. But now if we pick a different one, we say, okay, we can change this and try and use some of these options to like create a better combination of the flower and color burn, I think is what we want. Yeah. So we're starting to get there. Linear burn, multiply, darken.
Please don't show this to Lily. She'll be embarrassed.
I promise I won't. But the idea is that we're taking a layer that we already have, and we're just trying to create different blends between that layer and what's behind it, which is nice because it kind of gives us a quick, not cheat, but like a quick way to get to a particular effect without having to do a lot of extra work.
Yeah, certainly is easier than some of the stuff I've done.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the look and the feel of some of those.
Yeah, and so having all of that kind of like over here as a quick pick, and realistically, most people don't go through here and pick a few, and they get used to a few, and they kind of use them constantly. Screen and lighten are the most popular in here, usually. Also, multiply and darken are also very popular. Those effects do a lot of the stuff, both the darken and the dark side and lighten and the lighten side are the most common effects that people use in order to create effects in movies and on like different objects when they're interacting with each other. So yeah, that is a really cool thing, especially here. The screen example is a really good example for your water here, and the lighten is also good. It kind of looks like it's reflecting on the water, which is kind of your point, right?
Right.
Which is something that you could do with this rather than trying to figure out how to do it manually in some other way.
I would never be able to do it manually.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fascinating whole. I'll have to remember that whole thing and fool around with it.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this with a collage is because you're in a collage, basically what you're doing is you're combining different objects together. If you use these tools to combine things together, you can create a more natural composition rather than having harder edges and harder barriers between one layer and the next.
Yeah, I think that this is. Well, we have the grass cutters.
Oh, gotcha.
We had the mulch people a little earlier, and she about killed them. Okay, Chloe, enough.
You get them, Chloe.
You don't have that to worry about. Grass cutters.
Nope.
At least they're coming. That's good. We have, somehow they got them allowed to come in.
Yeah, right.
They cut the grass. That was a big deal. Since we're quarantined in here.
Yeah, we are.
No, we are. We're not allowed, we're not supposed to go anywhere. Stop it, Chloe. We have security. Everybody we have policemen. They're checking everybody that comes in.
What are they checking for?
To be sure you're registered to come in. You're either a resident or
Oh, wow.
They stop every car. Stop it, Chloe. Please. Wait a minute, I'm going to get rid of her. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Okay.
She's really pushing it, yeah.
Well, we got this guy out there doing his thing. Okay, so I can just fool around with those, and I can.
Ah.
Let me see if I have another one to put in.
Yeah, do you have another thing we can put in? That'd be great.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I don't know how this works. That's a desktop. I don't have it on my desktop. Where did that go? I got too much stuff here. Go away, go away, go away. Oh, what about this update?
Ooh, that's
Oh.
cool. I love updates.
No, this. We
That's
got
great.
it. Can I finish it now?
It's ready. It's working. Yeah. Sweet.
So I don't have to do anything more.
Nope, we're
It's
done.
just done.
Yep.
Perfect.
Let's see if you can you find another thing to put on our water collage?
Well, I'm looking for it. Just a minute. Come on. Open. What does it matter? Why was that open? Maybe it's open. There. That's what I want. Fly blue. Where did I do it? Flower quick select.
Fourth up from the bottom.
There. I did that.
Oh, cool.
I knew I did another one.
All right. If you could move that layer into the NH5SS.
But I just want to take this, right?
Just, yeah, the star.
Where are we? NH5SS. There it goes.
Okay. Now, let's use the blending effects and find a blending effect that you find interesting to put it in the thing.
Where did that say? Kind layers.
Up right below there where it says normal. Yeah.
What's its I mean, it's just next to opacity. I guess I just
Yep.
have to remember because it doesn't go back to.
Normal and dissolve really don't change much of how it affects everything. The ones that affect it are below there, like darken, multiply, lighten, screen, etc. So if we choose lighten, for example, we're
Then
getting.
how do you make it not that dark?
What do you mean, not that dark?
Well, it's lightened, but it's so light that I can't see it.
Then you might want to pick a different effect.
Oh, okay. So I can't actually change.
You pick whatever they have, and that's all you get. If you want to do something else, you'll have to manually bring it down or something. Yeah.
But there are a lot of pickings here, so I could find something.
Oh, not that one. Click on the where it says screen now. Yeah.
I gotta.
And that will always change to the new effect. So if you use soft light, which you have right now, that menu will now say soft light.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a linear light, a very harsh light. And so you can see, you know how we usually go to the adjustment panel and we spend a lot of time doing adjustments.
Yeah.
What you're basically doing by using this drop down, in my opinion, is you're going to some pre-selects from the adjustments panel that better fit how things interact with each other. So if you, for example, want to put this flower into a scene that's very, very bright, you might pick one of these various different options to get you really close to the result that you want, and then modify it from there.
Okay, at least I found it where it is. Now let's just see here. I want a pin light and highlights.
And the hard lights and stuff are all referring to the fact, like, hey, if a light was popping on here, this is what it might do to this particular layer.
You just have to fiddle around with it, I guess, and figure out what you like. The problem is I keep picking the wrong little thing here. Anyway, that's a fun thing to play with. That's better.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to give you the exact terminology. This is what we want. And read. And read. I'm going to steal your mouse for a second, okay?
Yeah.
This list
Oh, there's
tells
the
you
thing.
everything.
Oh, perfect.
The blending modes specified in the options bar controls how pixels in the image are affected by a painting or editing tool. Think in terms of the following colors when visualizing a blending modes effect: the base color, the blend color, and the result color. So this is what they do: normal, dissolve, behind, clear, darken,
Oh, great.
etc.
Perfect.
So if you're this list is a perfect example of what each of those blends do and how it affects everything. And remember that all of these are all affecting the layer based off of the colors and things below it. So like this one, Lighten, for example, looks at the color information in each channel and selects the base or blend color, whichever is lighter, as the result color. Pixels darker than that blend color are replaced, and pixels lighter do not change.
Got it. Very, very amazing. Is this page, can you save that page?
Yeah, we'll bookmark it.
Yeah.